morning, writers. We're going to talk about revising today. So, if you are on the step that is called revising, that means you've finished all of the writing that you wanted to do for your book. I've got my pages of my book here with me, and it tells me that you are ready to read your book to yourself and see if it makes sense or if you forgot to add anything that you wanted in there. So one way you can do revising is that you can pretend that you're reading this to a preschooler who knows nothing about your bird. And think about that. If that was your audience, would your words and would your writing make sense to them? Sometimes I like to have someone read my writing to me so that I can hear what it sounds like. Let's just think about the word revise. Vise means to look at, and means to do something again. So it's sort of like we're looking at our writing with fresh eyes when we revise it. And really, we just want to hear it and see what we can change or fix up to make it make even more sense. So I'm going to just read mine and see if there's anything that doesn't make sense in it. Then we're going to look at the book, The Most Magnificent Thing, and we're going to listen to it together. And in that book, we're going to notice how the little girl has to do some revising of her project. So it's not perfect from the beginning, and that is okay. It's part of our process. All right, mine says, I'm on the chapter about bluebirds. It was called Where Do They Live? Bluebirds live on meadows and open areas. They like to eat grasshoppers, and meadows have lots of them. They go from Mexico up. Okay, well, first of all, I found they don't live on meadows, so I'm going to change on meadows to in meadows and open areas. Bluebirds live in meadows and open areas. They like to eat grasshoppers, and meadows have lots of them. They go from Mexico up. Well, I know in my mind that what I meant was to think about migrating and that they don't always live in the same place for the whole year. But I'm thinking that a preschooler who didn't know about migration might not understand that part. So I should probably explain that a little bit more. Instead of just saying they go from Mexico up, I think I'm going to change that. Instead of saying go, I'm going to say migrate. They migrate in the summer, and fly to places in the United States for warm weather and food. They don't like to be too hot, so they come where it is warm but not so hot. Migrating means moving from place to place. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense to me. And I think that reading that to my imaginary audience member, which is a preschooler, I think that that would make a bit more sense. So we're going to watch The Most Magnificent Thing.
And now,
I'm going to see how this girl has to
Magnificent
revise her project.
written and illustrated by Ashley Spires.
And we've seen this book before, but sometimes we read
This is a regular girl.
Sometimes we read books over and over and look for different things in them. The first time we were just hearing the story. This time we're really noticing how she revises.
And her best friend in the whole wide world.
Looks like girly.
They do all kinds of things together. They race. They eat. They explore. They relax. She makes things. unmakes things. One day, the girl has a wonderful idea. She is going to make the most magnificent thing. She knows just how it will look. She knows just how it will work. All she has to do is make it, and she makes things all the time. Easy peasy. First, she hires an assistant.
He's her assistant.
Next, they gather their supplies. They set up somewhere out of the way and get to work. The girl tinkers and hammers and measures, while her assistant pounces and growls and chews.
This is like you guys writing your books, tinkering and
When
toiling.
she is finished, she steps back to admire her work. She walks around one side. Her assistant examines the other side. It doesn't look right. Her assistant picks it up and gives it a shake. It doesn't feel right either. They are shocked to discover that the thing isn't magnificent or good. It isn't even kind of sort of okay. It is all wrong.
But it's
the girl
a start.
tosses it aside and gives it another go.
So she didn't get upset. She just
She
gave it another
smooths
go.
and wrenches and fiddles. Her assistant circles and tugs and wags. When she is finished, she stands up and takes a long look at it. Her assistant gives it a nudge with his paw. The thing is still wrong. She decides to try again.
Trying again.
The girl saws and glues and adjusts. She stands and examines and stares. She twists and tweaks and fastens. She fixes and straightens and studies. She tries all different ways to make it better. She makes it square. She makes it round. She gives it legs. She adds antenna. She makes it fuzzy. She makes it long, short, rough, smooth, big, small. One even smells of stinky cheese. But none of them are magnificent. Her hard work attracts a few admirers, but they don't understand. They can't see the magnificent thing that she has in her mind. She gets mad. The angrier she gets, the faster she works. She smashes pieces into shapes. She jams parts together. She pummels the little bits in. Her hands feel too big to work, and her brain is too full of all the not right things. If only the thing would just work. Crunch! The pain starts in her finger. It rushes up to her brain, and she explodes. It is not her finest moment. I am no good at this. I quit. Her assistant suggests a walk.
Don't quit.
It's not much help at first. But before long, she starts to feel different. Bit by bit, the mad gets pushed out of her head. As they stroll along, she comes across the first wrong thing she made. The bad feelings are about to start all over again. Then she notices something surprising. There are some parts of the wrong things that are really quite right. The bolts on one, the shape of another, the wheel to seat ratio of the next. There are all sorts of parts that she likes. By the time she reaches the end of the trail, she finally knows how to make the thing magnificent. She gets to work. She works carefully and slowly, tinkering, hammering, twisting, fiddling, gluing, painting, Her assistant makes sure there are no distractions. This is the perfect thing to ward off bears. This will stop that leak. This one's all wet. The afternoon fades into evening. Finally, she finishes. She alerts her assistant. The pair take a good long look. It leans a little to the left, and it's a bit heavier than expected. The color could use a bit of work too, but it's just what she wanted. They climb aboard and take it for a spin. They are not disappointed. It really is the most magnificent thing.
Okay, friends. So she had to revise over and over and over again. She got a little frustrated about it in the beginning. You do not need to be frustrated about it at all. Your work is magnificent. Just take a look at it. Do the best you can. Try again if it's not the way you wanted it to sound in the beginning. And maybe what you come up with in the end will be better than you imagined. All right, enjoy your writing today. Enjoy your revising.